Hello and welcome to another knitting video. This time I'm wanting to knit a little singlet, and I have this tangle of wool that I'm going to start knitting with, and I'm going to make up the pattern and I'll explain it as we go along. So the plan is to knit two sides, so a front and a back. Do a little bit of ribbing down the bottom so it's nice and figure hugging, and then get up here and then decrease and then do some straps. That's the plan. So this merino wool is made for 5mm needles, and that's actually what I had, so that's very handy. And so I'm just going to cast on roughly to about half my waist. So I'm just doing a normal cast on here. And this is not really a beginner friendly video, so if there's anything that you're unsure of and need more in-depth explaining, just honestly look up on YouTube like how to cast on or how to do ribbing. So I've chosen a singlet that fits me really nicely and I like the shape of, and throughout the process I'm just using it as a reference, which makes it super easy. And just remember, when you cast on, just stretch it out and it's a bit longer than it actually will be. So I'm starting off with a 1x1 rib, so that's just knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. And for this, just make sure you have an even number of cast on stitches. And mine's actually a twisted rib. That might look a bit strange, but if you want to look up different rib designs, just look it up on the internet. So my reference singlet actually goes in a little bit at the waist. So when I got to that point, I'm just going to do some decreases here. So for this, you just knit 2 stitches together on the end and then knit across the row, and when you get to the last stitches, 2 stitches, just knit them together. So after you've done that first row, you do 1 row back the way you can, and then the next row I did another 2 decreasing stitches on each side, so that's 4 decreases altogether. And then I actually increased back to where I had, so I increased by 4 stitches over 4 rows again. So it's just like a nice little shaping. I'm getting close to finishing the front of my singlet. So this is how it's going to sit, just about there. So I did my ribbing up until just under my boob, and then I started just doing plain stockinette stitch, and now I'm just going to make it a little bit higher, but I'm going to use a different wool. I'm going to use this slightly darker mohair wool, so it's very soft. And I'm just using my reference singlet to figure out how much further I have to go. And so I'll attach this wool just with a knot onto the other string. So they're kind of similar colours, so it's kind of hard to see, but this is my string that's already attached. You just tie a little knot, leave a tail, and then just start knitting with the new wool. So to do the decreases for the armholes, I'm going to knit 2 stitches and simply knit 2 together, and continue on to the end of the row. At the end of the row, I have 4 stitches left. I am just going to knit these 2 together, like so, and then finish off the last 2 stitches. And then I'll just purl back the whole row as normal, and then do another 2 decreases on the next row. So I've reached the top of my garment, and so I'm just going to knit 12 stitches across, and then cast off in the middle, and then knit the last 12 stitches of the row. So this will cast off the middle, but then leave the 2 sides so I can continue up. So to cast off, you knit 1 stitch and then another stitch, and then pass that first stitch over the second one, and make sure you do all this quite loosely, and so you just continue on until you have 12 stitches left. So knit across those last 12 stitches, turn it around and purl back to the start of those 12 stitches, and then we're going to do some slanted decreasing. So you slip the first 2 stitches onto the needle, pass one over like you're decreasing, like we did before, slip another one, pass it over. So that's 2 stitches decreased, and then you knit to the end of the row. Then you turn around, knit, purl back, and then when you get back to the knit row, then you slip 2, pass it over, slip another one, pass it over, and just continue that until you have about 4 stitches left. So there's 4 stitches here, and I'm actually going to decrease a little bit, so I'm just going to knit the last 2 stitches together. So I'll be left with 3 stitches. And my method here is a bit random, so you can figure out a nicer way to do it. But basically I'm just like slipping stitches, then doing one more row, and then slipping another stitch till I have 1 left. And then I'm going to just finger knit a little strap. And then to start on the other side, we're just going to tie on your wool to the center, to the middle. So you'll be starting with a purl row. And I'm just going to slip the 2 over straight away. And then continue for the rest of the row, turn it round, do your stocking knit back, and then continue slipping those 2 on the purl row until you have 6 left. So you slip on the purl side, and when you get to the end, you're going to knit the 2 stitches together, so you have 4 stitches left. And then keep decreasing 1 row at a time until you have 1 left, and then again do your finger knitting to knit strap. So I've been knitting the back panel, and I actually just did rib the whole way to keep it nice and easy, and it's just a straight panel, there was no decreases. So I'm just like measuring off my front piece how far I have to go up. That's sitting there, and this is almost the same length. And so I just went to, when I did those first decreases, when I changed colour, I did those decreases to shape the armhole a little bit down here. So I just did that. It's exactly the same, so this is where you go to watch those steps. I just decreased 2 stitches on each side. And now, I'm just going to do the exact same as the top, the triangle kind of shaping. So you can go back to here to watch that. And even though I've been doing rib the whole way, I'm going to now switch to stocking knit, just so it's easier. And yeah, and then we just have to join the pieces together. But they're looking really good, and I'm excited. So this is the back panel, and this is the front. So now we simply attach the 2 sides together. So you want the 2 backs facing together. So the front top is facing you, but yeah, the 2 backs are facing together, if that makes sense. So now you just stitch along there until you get to the armhole, and then stitch along the other side. And this is quite a bad tutorial bit. but basically I'm just tying on the yarn and then weaving in between the 2 side stitches. If you need to look up a better explanation, just look up how to attach 2 ribbed knitting together or something along those lines. So the 2 sides are attached, and just make sure you stop connecting them when you started decreasing in the 2 armholes. And then now just simply do the exact same on the other side. I'm all done! Ta-da! I'm really happy with it. It's nice and stretchy, which is good. And there's some things that I would have changed, but you know, I'm happy. It's a unique piece, and yours won't be exactly the same as mine, but each their own, you know, it turns out how it turns out. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and I hope you got something useful out of this video. And thank you to all the people that sent me such sweet messages last time I made a video. Thank you all so much. And yeah, happy knitting, everybody. Have a good day.